Hello and welcome back. This is Ree, or you may call me Ray. That is what my friends call me. And so today, this is going to be a sit-down video about working for an airline. So I am going to share with you my point of view, personal point of view. So disclaimer, this is not going to be like everybody's view or perspective about this job or about this industry. This is my own, and I would like to share that to you, to those aspiring people or students, or even the adults now, the 30s or the 40s, who would still like to work at the airport or for an airline. So just a bit of my knowledge that I would like to share. And so for that, we will begin. Well, as you can see, I have prepared my hair, my makeup, and I try to look corporate so that it would at least be applicable for this discussion. So first is how to apply for an airline. So first you must target lock where or what airline would you like to work for, and also where are you planning to work in your province or in Metro Manila. So another disclaimer, this will be my point of view for the Philippine setting. So this doesn't apply to other countries, or maybe it is similar, so that's a good thing. So share with me if this is similar or not. And if you're in the Philippines, then this could be relatable to you, and you can use this information as well. Okay, let's go back. So where to apply and how. First, you have to know what airline would you like to work for. You have to make sure you have done your research. You must know what place could I work for that airline. Did I work for the airport? Did I work for the back office, to their offices, or to their ticketing offices? So there's a lot of places that you could actually work for an airline. It doesn't simply mean that if you're working for an airline, you will work only at the airport. So how to apply? So first, there are only, I believe, the option that you could have if you are coming from the bottom, like from a starter, you don't have friends, you don't know anyone at the airline or at the airport, then you will be applying at the agency. So agencies, offices from the agencies, you have to search for that. You should do your research. It's very important. So after the agencies, you should know the address where they are. You can submit your resume directly to them or to their email addresses. Aside from the offices, of course, you can do it online, as it is connected. So from offices to online, you can do that. You can submit your resume, and then other option is to actually go to the airport, ask the ticketing teller or the area where you could actually submit your resume, and you could ask if they are hiring. But if they are not, you can still submit though, because it will be up to them to submit or forward your resume to someone else, to a different, let's say to another agency, or like someone directly from their office. So there's a lot of options. So there you have it. You could go and research for the agency or for the airline directly online. You can also do that by submitting it online to their email addresses. The other one is at the airport, and then the other one is through your friends or anyone that you know online as well. Now, it's very important that you have a backer. Backer is a term used for someone at the company that you could ask for help or assistance. For example, gusto mong mag-apply, but then you cannot go to that company directly because they're very strict with their security, ganon. But if you have someone there, a backer, they could help you. Now, your dreams won't be shattered naman at all. So even though you are working for even though you are applying for this certain company, you can always start from scratch. You can always start from the bottom. You could always give them like the determination that you want to work for them through email. You could keep sending some emails. You could keep sending your resume at the office, at the airport, you know. So as I've worked for this airline and I am at the administrative department, your resumes will be received, but then it will not be assessed. So it will be just assessed when hiring is open. So remember, if your resume is received at the office, they are not hiring. They might throw that away, or they might just keep it piled up somewhere. Okay? But if you keep on sending your resume, you keep on emailing them, the chances are whenever there is a hiring, you would be easily chosen for assessment. So that's a very important thing, you know. The nature of the job is that you must just keep on showing, you must just keep showing that you're determined to work for the company or for the airline. So what are the job positions available? Now I will be starting with the very common positions, as they are the most well-known, or the well-known positions that most citizens or people know. So I'll start with pilots, the flight attendants, we have the aircraft mechanic. So these are like already out of the scene of the usual operation, but they are a big part and they are playing a very, very big role and responsibility to the whole aspect of flying an aircraft. So they are the aircraft mechanics. And then we also have the ticketing agents or the sales representative. So obviously you can never buy a ticket without them, but given the new generation right now, you can do it online. So we still have existing ticketing sales agents working at the airport or working at the ticketing office. And another one, of course, is the security personnel. So a security personnel is also very important. This is where we're going to get into detail, which is the ground crew. Ground crew / the operations personnel, and also the back of the house personnel, or those who are working for the administrative department. So as I've mentioned, we'll be focusing on this because these are the positions that I have worked with or I have knowledge of. Okay, so when we say ground crew, you could have different positions for this, but as a whole, they are called ground crew. We'll start with the top, which we have the load controller. The load controller focuses on the weight and balance of the aircraft. So if you are checked in to the aircraft or to your flight, the load controller would have to balance out to check if the cargo and the packs are equally balanced for the aircraft. Because tendencies are the aircraft might not have a smooth flight, or there may be some troubles with a lot of technicalities inside the aircraft. So it's very important that this load controller plays that big role for every flight. So that's a load controller. Second, we have the ramp agents. These ramp agents, they focus on the ramp operation. When you say ramp operations, are you even wondering where does your bag go, your baggages, the cargoes that's being put into the aircraft? So the ramp agent focuses on how and if the operation is being done correctly. They are the ones who monitor the operation when it comes to the ramp during pre-flight and after the flight. Okay, next we have the ramp service agents. These ramp service agents works together with the ramp agent assigned for that flight. But these ramp service agents are the ones who are managing or operating those equipments used during the flight. So of course, our baggage, our cargoes, they will never be inside the aircraft without the help of these equipment. Of course, there are some aircraft that is being done manually by the people, or called the loaders. These loaders are the ones who actually carry those things or those cargoes and baggage into the aircraft. Now the ramp service agents, they also play a big role. Okay, the ramp service agents play a big role as well, because they are the ones who have to make sure that there will be no accidents that's going to happen, that the loader and them as the operator are working together to make it work smoothly and safely for the flight. Okay, so the ramp service agent, the loader, the ramp agent, they all work together. Now, are you wondering who is the load controller working with? So the load controller is working with passenger service agents. So these passenger service agents are called PSA. They are the ones who check in your baggage, check in you as a passenger. They are the ones who is helping you board your flight. They are the ones who assist you with your baggage when you arrive at your destination. So for other airlines, they also have lounge or VIP rooms. So with that, we also have an agent assigned there, also called the PSA. Now for these places, this one person assigned for that can sometimes actually do all of those, or even 3 of those simultaneously during a flight operation. And you know why? Because there are times that your workmate or your colleague is not available. You lack the manpower to do that during a flight, and you cannot, of course, complain, because you have to make sure that the flight will run smoothly. So you are wondering, how about the cargoes? Who manages the boxes? Who loads and unloads them? So they are called cargo service agents. So these cargo service agents, they work with the system as well to check on the availability of the flight, if the cargoes can be accepted, if they can have this cargo into this specific flight for this destination. So they accept those cargo, they check them as well. They also make sure that they could fit the aircraft. So aside from that, we have the operations personnel. So these operation personnel, they are the ones who make sure that the whole flight they oversee the whole flight. So this operations personnel could either be the manager or the supervisor. And they are separate from the ground crew, because they are usually working directly with the airline. So the ground crew is working for who? Okay, so the ground crew is working also for an airline, but through an agency. So you're also wondering, how can these people actually survive without an HR, without an administrative, without trainings, without timekeeping or finance? So that's where the back office personnel comes in. So the back office personnel, they are the ones who work for the administration. Now, I have worked as a back office personnel, and we are also working for an agency. So now you know the different job positions available. Now we will be talking about the training and the hiring process. Now, if you are ever to apply for this airline, here is the usual and general process that I have gone through, and I know that this will be common with other airlines. First, they will be calling you for an initial interview, and then after that, you have to wait for a few days, and they will be calling you for the final interview. Done with the final interview, and then you have passed the 2 steps, the next step will be requirements. They will ask you to submit requirements, and usually they are the government IDs, the government forms that is needed, the credentials, your school and your previous job if you have, and then also medical exams. So your results during the medical exams will also be a requirement. It is a very crucial requirement. Now you also have to pass these medical exams. Now after submissions of all of these, the next is you will have to wait for a call for the training. So the training is usually paid. You don't have to worry about the training. They will be covering your accommodation, your food, and your training. The training is usually out of town or in a different city. Now this is an exciting part. You have to learn a lot of things from this. The period for the training is usually 3 weeks to 1 month. So during my time, I had almost 1 month training. I had almost 1 month training for being a PSA. Now you have to know that you will be doing a lot of reading, a lot of activities as well. You will also be learning the system used for checking in passengers for the flight. So there's a lot of things you have to learn, and it's for free. So usually this is for free. For other agencies, I believe there are payments, but you have to choose your agency as well. You have to do really a quick background check. You have to ask them during the interview as well to know what are the policies, what are the regulations during the hiring process. Now, right, so after the training, you will be sent back home, and then you have to wait for the results. Your HR or the admin would actually inform you if the results are already in, and if you have passed. Then if you have passed, you will just have to wait when will they deploy you. So usually they do this also by group. Now here's the question. How long is the hiring process? So the hiring process is around 2 months to 6 months. Now 2 months is yung pinakamabilis na yan. That the 2 months you include the training for that. So if you have a training for almost 1 month, then the other month is actually focused on your waiting period, the interviews, the requirements, and almost everything. So that's the quickest 2 months. And then sometimes it could last until 6 months. So imagine, no, the long wait. Actually, I would like to share that we even had this batch that we hired before that took almost 1 year of waiting before they were actually hired. So imagine, you really have to be patient if you really want to work for the airline. If you really want this, you really have to wait. So there are really instances that the longer you wait, it would be worth it by the end, diba? So for the last thing that I'm very sure you're very curious about is the salary. So how much is the salary? Now I'm going to divide this into two. We're going to tackle the provincial rate and then the metropolitan rate. So the provincial rate, as I have worked in the province for an airline at the airport, so this is what I'm very familiar of. Now if you are from the province and you would like to work for an airline in your nearest airport, then possibly the amount that is going to be clinging during this, the salary that you're going to apply for, or the job that you're going to apply for. Now, I don't want to shock everyone else, but we're not being paid big enough for this position, okay? So salary, monthly, you can earn 6K to 14K. So imagine 6,000 to 14,000 depending on your position, depending on your job title. So that is for the ground crew. There's a possible increase depending on your city. So if it's really still a provincial rate, then it's going to be around like that. Okay, now another one, because I have worked as well as under the back of the house department or in the administrative department. Now, the salary that I have worked for is around 12K. So 12,000 for a personnel at the office. So for the metropolitan rate, so if you're living in Metro Manila, now they range from 18K to 22K. So I'm not very sure if this is still the case, but yeah, you can actually ask during the interview. It's still very important to ask. So I would love to share more about my working experience and more story time for you guys. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been very helpful. So see you again next time.